I'd like to welcome the audience who's watching. Today I'm with Saheeda Rahman. She is a peer coach just like me, and we would like to discuss today about authenticity. So, Saheeda, tell me a little. What are your thoughts about authenticity?
Authenticity is a very big topic for me. And that's actually what my niche is in coaching, is to allow people to kind of be their authentic self with confidence. And I think that's quite important because I think a lot of people aren't confident in who they really are. They are confident in who they think they should be for people outside of themselves. And that can kind of go into, any kinds of factors like your job. Sometimes in relationships, you're not your true self. You feel like you need to be someone else. With friends. So I feel like it kind of applies to every aspect of our lives. And I think why I decided to go down that route is because for a long time, I thought I had to be someone for lots of other people. And I truly wasn't myself. And I thought that if I was truly myself, then that would be the worst thing ever. And I never had any confidence, and I never had anyone give me that confidence. So what I want to do, I want to give people that confidence.
It's funny that you should say that from your childhood, that you wanted to be what people expect you to be, basically, because of the need for validation. Does that make sense? Does that?
Yeah. I guess we all kind of grow up at some point in our lives, and we are kind of taught to behave a certain way, and then we take kind of those messages, and as we grow up into adult life and we start to kind of operate in the real world, we don't really allow our inner child to come out. That was kind of authentic, that wanted to play, that was very raw. We kind of give people the face that we think they want to see by the messages that were fed into us. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, right? I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying these are the messages that we have taken on as our own, and don't necessarily kind of serve us, if that makes sense. And I'd be really interested to hear kind of what your perspective is on authenticity and what it means.
I describe it as the good girl or the good boy syndrome. I think
right.
that we've been taught, oh, you should behave, you should do this, and sit up straight, and boys don't cry, and girls are not supposed to play with trucks, and little things that add up in our psyche. And this is the way we're supposed to behave. This is the way we should look. This is the way we talk. And this is the way we should react to things. So it is ingrained in us so much, so deep. It's so deeply rooted in our psyche that it's very difficult when we are adults to peel those layers off one onion, to really into yourself and discover who that inner child is without the need for approval from others.
And sometimes I guess we're too scared to kind of show, and sometimes we don't even know who we really are because of all the messages and all the experiences we've had. We believe that we're this one person, and when we feel disconnected, we're not really sure why. And it's kind of getting to the root of finding out who you are and having that innate kind of trust, or I would say the innate trust to kind of really believe you are that great, wonderful person that you haven't really necessarily thought about before, or you didn't allow to kind of grow or shine through. So I guess it's kind of allowing that to come through and having that confidence to let it shine, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I was that person when I was little, actually.
Me too.
Approval from everything, and even in my most difficult, painful days, I would lock myself in a room, and I'd be crying. And the first thing I would do is look into the mirror And while I'm crying and I'm hurting, I'm in pain inside, I'll go,
Oh,
that smile, just to make sure, just to practice, so that when I would actually go out and dry my
yeah,
tears, I would show that to the world.
yeah.
And it took the longest time. And it's so horrible, actually, because you do it out of love for the people that are around you, because you want them to be happy, and you want them to be happy for you, with you. It affects you in your life decisions, in your choices, in the direction you take with your career. Everything depends on what you've been taught to, how you've been taught to think and behave. To be authentic takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of guts to say, here I am.
Yeah.
Filter. This is who I am. Perfectly imperfect.
Yeah. I also think it takes someone, it also takes, like you mentioned, like you touched on courage. It also kind of, I think you have to be a very courageous person to realize actually your life is not where you want to be at, or you're not who you want to be, for you to be able to ask yourself those questions and be like, hold on a minute, I'm not the real me. And like I ask you, like, at what point did you ask yourself that question? Be like, hold on a minute, like what's going on here? Like who am I? Like who's Talene?
When did I ask that question to myself?
Yeah.
10 years ago.
10
years ago.
Yeah.
Only 10 years ago. I lived my life with the choices that I made, with the direction I took with my career. Everything that I did it for the approval of others.
Yeah.
Even until 3 years ago, actually.
Yeah.
I love my family. I love my family. And I say this with all humility. And I say, I'm there to serve them. There to, if anybody needs anything, that I would be the first person that they would call. I do that with all my love. But there was a time where I would do it in fear that if I didn't deliver, they would not love me enough.
Right.
So there was that. I believe that is part of authenticity also, because you're not there. I would have so many other things that I would just sacrifice and I wouldn't do, which are part of really what I want to be, what I want to do, and where I want to be, for being loved and accepted.
Yeah.
That's a pretty heavy burden to bear for somebody in their lives.
So what steps did you decide to take then to kind of tap into your authenticity?
Good question. The steps I took was actually my journey in coaching.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Yeah.
And second, with the journey that I am still on, and I will continue.
Yeah.
Till my dying day, because we are continuously growing and learning.
Absolutely.
It was actually reflecting on the decisions I made and where my life led till today, and why I was not happy. It was learning how to love myself. It was about self-love, actually.
Yeah.
It was looking into the mirror without that smile, and looking at my wrinkles and looking at my face in all its glory and all its imperfections, and looking into my heart with all of the fear, the pain, the frustrations, the whatever it was that was there, plus the happiness and the love, and all the whole bundle.
Yeah.
Wow. Not
and
bad.
I guess that's what authenticity is, isn't it? It's just kind of accepting yourself for all of those things that you've just mentioned, and just being,
it's okay. It's okay not to be perfect. It's okay to be exactly who you are deep inside, and show that to the world with no apology.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's when you start to connect with yourself, and that's when you start to kind of put your best self through, because that judgment of yourself kind of drops. And you're
Judgment,
like,
judgment of yourself and other people's judgments as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I definitely kind of resonate with what you've just said there, because now I can kind of go through my everyday life, and like, obviously people have opinions and people have ideas or perceptions of you, and I'm just like, you know what, whereas that would bother me so much before, now I'm just like, that's okay, you've got every right to feel that way. I know that I am kind of content within myself, and I am being authentic to who I am and all those great values that I have within me, and that shine. I could stand there with confidence and accept the fact that you don't like me, or that you think different of me, or whatever the idea may be that you have in your mind.
Beautifully said. Because other people's opinions are not your business.
Absolutely. Going back to what you said before, none of your business. Yeah.
What do you think of you? Because that is their opinion based on their own beliefs and their own fears and maybe their own frustrations. Because some people don't want to be, they don't want you to succeed, or they don't want you to do something because they're not able to do it themselves. So it's not about you when they're judging. It's about them, their own perception of things.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot of their projections though, isn't it? It's kind of them kind of projecting on on you, how they're feeling inside.
Well, tell me something, Saheeda. Let's say a client comes to you with the aim and the goal of learning to be more authentic.
Mm-hmm.
What would you ask them?
I think first of all, what I'd ask them is why they think they are not being authentic to who they are. Because authenticity is, like lots of things, is very subjective, right? I mean, I know what authenticity means to me, and it might mean something differently. So my first question would probably is, why do you feel you aren't being authentic to who you are? And then I think I'd start to explore reasons why. And I think what's also a kind of a good, I don't want to say navigator, but it kind of gives you a bit of insight into their life or into their world, would be to ask them what their values are and how much in alignment they are to your values. And that's when you can start seeing the connections or the disconnections of where they think they are and where they act presently are. And I don't mean that up or down, it's, you know, that's me judging right there. But where if they're on an even keel, hello. She likes this conversation.
She does.
Being authentic is, we're not going to be like, yeah, I'm authentic now in 3 months' time. This is like a lifelong project, and it's being completely aware of things around you, of your surroundings. It's being kinder to yourself, knowing that this is going to be a process. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in 2 months. You're going to be constantly kind of monitoring yourself and reflecting on yourself and seeing what works and maybe doesn't work, or what you feel aligned to or what you feel disaligned. Disaligned, is that even a word? I guess it's understanding that you are finding out more about yourself as you kind of live every day, and as you have interactions, or you're experiencing new experiences, you know.
Your ego is tied to the masks that you wear.
What
you are is according to what you judge yourself to be. And once you learn to let go of that ego and accept yourself for who you are, and forgive yourself and others for the judgment, for the I think that you become happier, lighter. Your values are aligned. Like you said, I think everything just comes into a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think people around you notice it as well. And I just think there's this aura about you when you start being more authentic to who you are. Things come more naturally to you. Opportunities like are just there. And you know, I have experienced this. Like, the more that I am being more authentic to who I am, I have realized that, very much going back to what you've just said about kind of dropping that ego, like dropping that mask, and understanding that I'm not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but I am my own cup of tea, you know, and I like who I am. And I think once you start connecting to who you are and you start appreciating who you are, things kind of fall into place naturally. And we were talking earlier before this recording, we're like, you're in the flow, aren't you? You're in the flow.
I would actually ask the person, where do you see your life today? And what would you like to change? And what is not serving you anymore, and why is it not? That already will open doors about things that are stopping people from living their authentic lives.
Absolutely.
Authentic. Sometimes authenticity also comes in phases. I mean, you may be I think that we are exactly where we're meant to be in every stage of our lives. And
hashtag IPEC principle.
That's the principle, very true. 10 years ago, the person that I was is no longer here today. She's left the building.
Oh, absolutely.
As authentic as I could be at that time for the stage that I was in my life. And today I am a richer and a happier and a more fulfilled in my life because of the journey of growth that I've taken.
Yeah.
And just stop everything and say, what is not working in my life right now, and and why would I like to change it? Because it's not meeting my values. I could go on in the same direction that I was going to, and just end up a bitter and frustrated person, or I could actually change direction and follow what I'm supposed to be on. I'm so glad that we talked about this today.
Me too. And I think it's the greatest gift to be able to give someone, and to help them or to support them in getting that. I think it's the greatest gift. I truly kind of feel so humbled, and I feel so happy that we're able to kind of give that to an individual, you know, because we've got it, or we're working towards it, but we're able to kind of start that person on their journey to get that. So yeah, absolutely fantastic.
It's not just what we learn, but what we share with the world. That makes
absolutely.
One person at a time.
Exactly.
Hashtag.
We said it at the same time.